numbers in my phone that'll never ring again. Cause a lot done sent them home and they'll never, I got numbers on my phone that'll never ring again. Cause a lot of call them home. So until we sing again, I got texts in my phone that'll never ping again. I screenshot them so I got them. I don't want this thing to... I got numbers in my phone that'll never ring again.
I got numbers on my phone
that'll never ring again. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome. I know we are on CCP time, which is familiar to be
CCP.
Yes.
That's
Caribbean colored time.
Oh, that's even worse.
It's like Caribbean colored time.
That's worse than Negro time.
It is because we be a little late. But I mean, I had a good reason. I'm gonna go into my story. Well, first of all, I probably should say who the hell I am.
Who is you?
I is Sarita Valmine, aka I'm chronically resilient, aka spiritual alchemist, aka I just felt like saying one more, aka I really didn't have another one at all.
AKA what's your
come to light 19.
Come to light.
Cassie versus Sarita Val. All my aliases are coming out.
I forgot that was how I met you.
It is. I was Cassie versus Sarita Val because I was having people, had interesting things going on in my life back then. Had a lot of unnecessary drama.
If we had only knew.
Right. So much healing. So much learning and growing. I know, right?
Look at you now.
Just a whole adult. Adulting, yes. Cheers.
Our Capri Suns.
The adult beverages.
Right. Shout out to Happy Days Day Bar.
Absolutely.
I need the buttons.
You do need the buttons by you, but I didn't want to. I started trying to move them, and then that happened, and I didn't want to. I don't be held responsible, y'all. Because when stuff happens, and they're going to take it out my check.
I'll take it out your intro.
Yes. Yeah.
That's for Happy Days Day Bar.
Yes, it is.
For Happy Days Day Bar.
Because we appreciate them because they make sure that we are in a good
spirit. And you have graduated to have the Sherman Phoenix discount.
I have because I'm here so much. I really kind of like a part-time worker.
Good for you. I mean, shit.
I vend here. I do all the different things.
You're not sleeping here like I am.
That's because you're drinking too much, Tommy. Do we have to have an intervention?
No, I was actually working on artwork over in the other studio. Mm-hmm. And in between coats, I gotta let it dry. So I sit down and let me just rest my eyes for a little bit.
Oh, now because you about to be 50. So damn. That means when you rest your eyes, that means lights out. you should know that.
We'll be back.
You should know this is what happens when you know. Okay.
We got a lot of stuff going on over here.
We do. It's a lot of growth, and that's a good thing, And
yes. So Greedy is growing. TDR is growing. We got like fancy microphones here. We got a new computer. Got a big ass screen ass TV here.
Right. That's why I keep looking around because there's like 15 cameras in here, so I'll be knowing where I'm at sometimes.
And
sometimes
1, 2, 3, 4 cameras.
That's about 4, but I feel like there's more somewhere around
4? Here. Yeah.
We don't got the shoe cam yet though.
No.
See?
Shoe cam. Hey, don't get my shoe cam. I don't have no shoe game.
Sorry to hear that.
My shoe game hurting.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I've never been real big on. I'll buy shoes that I like, but I'm not big on the whole Nike like waiting in line and ordering.
Oh yeah, no, we're not doing that. No, I will definitely go on the app. So I have to say shout out to Juan for that because he put me up on the app, and ever since then my life has never been the same.
My whole life has changed.
So with you singing that song, I think I might have told you the background of that song for me.
No.
That's the song I got married to, sir. I walked down the aisle to that.
Little did you know
that was not going to work
your
out.
life had changed.
And was not going to work out because of that.
Hey, I don't have my phone.
It's okay. And my child is calling me. So this is the funny part. So it's real life, I'm not gonna answer it because I know what she wants. So I got a 13-year-old that thinks that they can get their nose pierced right now, and I've said to them they cannot get their nose pierced.
Why not?
Because they're 13. I said 16 is when you can get your nose pierced.
What's the difference between 13 and 16?
3 years in level of maturity.
Is the nose different?
I mean, for her, it might get bigger. I don't know.
I'm just being stupid because I don't know. My daughter asked for that. I'm like, why? But once they reach 18, they got tattoo, belly button piercing, and nose ring, and all that. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I told both of them actually. I said, when y'all turn 16, I said I'll sign off for y'all to get tattoos done, but the caveat is, has to be matching.
Oh, that's cute.
So then I'm like, then I would have, then I would allow for it that way.
That seems to be the trend because my daughters and their mother, when they turn 18, they are all getting like their first tattoo is going to be one that symbolizes something with them. Mm-hmm. So since I don't have that, I got them on my arm.
I know. I just noticed that. I mean, I got all mine on my back, so they're literally kicking my back in. Mm-hmm. And so I have all of their baby footprints along with their birth dates on there. I'm debating on adding their names and seeing how that will go.
The TV crooked.
Why are we doing this?
The TV is crooked, but this is leaning like that.
It does look like it's leaning a little. That might be the camera. We are so funny. We are just like we cannot stay on task for shit. Like we just like all over the place. Like, wait a minute.
No, we right where we're supposed to be. We are the Spiritual Alchemist podcast on a Friday night.
Look who is using my verbiage.
Yes.
You've been using a lot of my verbiage lately. I'm actually impressed.
Hey, I'm it's rubbing off on me.
It is.
It is.
Through osmosis. I don't touch you.
I already say right. I already say that
you're in between
blessings.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Somebody said that the other day. It's like, well, I'm broke. I was like,
Yeah. Look at that.
You're in between blessings, babe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's gonna come through for you.
It's gonna
but
come.
you gotta claim it because if you don't claim it, you're gonna continue to be broke.
Somebody tried to bless themselves with my debit card today. With H&R Block. Oh, why are you trying to buy shit off H&R Block? Like several times?
They might be trying to do their taxes.
With my card?
Yeah, they gotta. They gotta get it how they live.
I guess. Well, the inconvenience is that it's blocked now. I gotta go get a whole new card. Mm-hmm. But it didn't stop me from getting my drink.
I will. 2 for that. Yours is a little bit lighter than mine, though.
I had got all lemonade and got a little bit of mix up top. I stopped her too late. I was like, "Oh, mix it," and she just only had a little bit
left to go.
Yeah,
okay.
So she's like, "All right,
definitely." No, they were like, "Mix it." They said it for me, so
I am getting prepared for the 50th here at Sherman Phoenix, and I have a
what? Because you don't got my other one on there, so I had to improvise.
I knew you were gonna do something crazy, but I am going to be displaying my artwork at the party.
Really?
It's my first time displaying my artwork ever.
Oh, I'm gonna cry.
So I got new pieces. I got one piece that I'm working on right now that's I'm so hype off of. It's my rendition of the Biggie Smalls and Craig Mack release.
Oh, the Flavor in Year?
No, the Big Mac.
Oh.
Remember when Puffy the campaign? It was him holding the Big Mac and Craig Mack and Biggie would make to him. I was like, ooh, I gotta do this one. So
that's the one. Actually, did you see the text I sent you with the t-shirts? You
I didn't go through all of them, but yeah.
Okay, that's actually on one of the t-shirts. Yeah,
that may have been my. Oh yeah, that was the inspiration. Mm-hmm. That literally is inspiration. I was, oh. Yeah. So I wouldn't found one of the because that was a whole photo shoot, and I found a photo shoot, and I found one of them that I wanted to do, and it was perfect. Thank you. I forgot that was the inspiration. Mm-hmm. So thank you, Serena.
I'll be trying.
You be trying.
I know I was actually trying to look for an outfit the other day, and I went on the Cross Colors website. So I'm like, let me grab something from there.
They have a Cross Colors website.
It's back.
Wow.
And the shit's more expensive than it was back in the 90s. I was like, damn it.
I bet it is.
I'm like, my jeans back then was 180. Why are they now 250?
Remember the long long jacket they used to have?
And the long shorts. It was
like 4 different colors.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's on there. All that stuff is on there. That's all I was trying to look on there. I'm like, okay, I'm like, no, I'm not. I love you, but I'm not about to spend that much for one day.
I think I'm going 70s, early 80s. going like 79, 80 with mine.
So you're gonna have your nips out? Because that's when they
I
have
am
the little
not. I am not tying.
Grandmaster
I'm
Flash.
not tying up my shirt and showing my taco meat.
Please don't, because I will go home.
I have no taco meat. My taco meat is like
Non-existent.
strands.
I mean, you always could.
I can just brush it down.
I was gonna say you could do the spray and try to make it look like you got more.
Right.
The Beijing your chest. You want
I
Beijing
could
your,
put a big medallion on. Yeah.
and Beijing your chest.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it. But just don't sweat though, because if he sweats, it's gonna be a whole entire situation.
Right.
Because it's probably gonna be hot as hell that day.
It
So
might
that-
be, but we're getting the 40 ounces in.
That is true.
So,
we'll have the 40 ounces. We'll have
40 ounces.
these, as well too. I don't know what other magical food you'll be having, for us as well too. So we'll kind of sit back and wait. And you know what? I probably should have also introduced my my partner in crime here, Candid Beats, aka Tommy Tom, aka Tommy ain't got no job, aka.
You would think I ain't got no job,
But you got plenty jobs actually.
Yeah, plenty. Yes. Thank you for having me again. I appreciate it. You had to remind me this morning that I actually had to do this.
I know I did, because I'm like, he has not texted me. He has not said anything. Let me go ahead and remind my older castmate here.
Okay, y'all don't get enough of this. You can get
No.
enough of this.
It is funny. Speaking of that, with me actually saying that, because of course, we're just catching up, and then we'll kind of get into the topic at hand. But I had, because I do my walks, so I got another walking story. So went for my walk. What's today? Whatever. Okay, I can't remember what day of the week it was. That's the sad part.
You always got a story.
I do, because it's like whenever I go for my walks, I
walks
have
is-
my walks be epic. That's why I even went live yesterday during my walk, because I'm like, let me go for my walk and just go live and kind of give some updates about stuff that's going on in my world. But I think it might have been a couple days ago. Don't quote me. I don't remember. It might have been Monday, Sunday, whatever. Anywho,
Sunday, man.
I'm walking, and this older gentleman pulls up on me, and I'm like, oh, this is new. So I'm like, okay. So he pulls up. He's like, I'm not trying to be creepy or anything, but which usually when people say that, they're actually being creepy. But he's like, I'm not trying to be creepy or anything, but I've been seeing you walking, all these months, and I'm just like, okay, you got buttons, you just didn't even press them. See?
All right. How about this?
There you
The fuck?
go. Exactly. So I'm like, okay. And so he's like, I've been seeing you doing your walks and everything. I just want to let you know I'm so proud of you. You got this light that just, emanates off of you, and you're an
Emanates?
amazing. Yes. And I'm saying exactly how he said it. It's like, you're an amazing person. If anyone's never told you this before, like, you are going to do so many different things with your life. And he was trying to prophesize over me.
Yeah, I was about to say, I couldn't think of the word.
Yes, he was trying to prophesize over me. So he was like, anything that you put your mind to or anything that you want to have happen is going to happen. And then I'm like, okay, cool. I appreciate it. Thank you. And actually when he walked up on me, what was kind of funny though, is like what was happening, like before he walked up on me, is I was listening to a book on Audible. Because I realized I got too many damn books downloaded. So I'm like, okay, let me start listening to some of these shits and get this down. And so I was listening to My Body's Not an Apology. So it was already getting deep. And the part that, my body is it's basically your body's not an apology,
Okay.
but I say my body, because my body. So
my body, yo.
I was like listening to the first chapter. And in the first chapter, she was saying some things that actually happened to me as well. And the parallels were running, and I was starting to get a little teary-eyed, because I was like, oh my gosh, like this happened to me too. Just like this is, I'm actually shocked. That's like literally like verbatim what she was saying happened to me. So I was like trying to hold myself together, and I'm walking, walking right, and trying not to cry. So then he pulls up on me like that. So that actually, I think I need to hear some of that at that time, just to kind of shift my brain.
So it's a positive interaction.
Yeah, it was a positive
All right,
interaction.
I thought it was you mean, okay.
I mean, it kind of started to go to the left for a second, so we're gonna get there. So, because it can't always just stay right here; it has to go real quick when it comes to me. Yes, I don't care what the age is; y'all still got the same thing which y'all be thinking with, regardless of the age.
I've grown up quite a bit.
You
You saw me in action. I did really good. you saw me. You saw how it was going down, and I did good. I was actually I gave myself props.
Okay.
Anyway, continue.
Yeah, I'm like, let me get back to my story. So, so, he's saying all these positive things, mean everything, and he's like, he's like, I've had, he's like, I'm the youngest, of my family, which I'm like, damn, y'all got some
people older than you,
right? That's actually what I was
Methuselah.
So he's like, yeah, he's like, I've been here for my sisters and everything like that, because he's like, they dealt with some no good Negroes and all this kind of stuff like that. So
he said Negroes.
Like, he did. So that's how I really knew that he was old too, when he's the verbiage. So I'm like, okay. And he's like, but you look like you could use a friend to talk to. And I'm like, here we fucking go. And so I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm dating somebody. But I'm not trying to be that person. He's like, I respect that. I respect that you dating somebody, But just in case if you like need someone to really talk to, and I'm starting thinking to myself, I'm like, I got so many other people that I could actually talk to before I would talk to you.
You talk to the stranger.
To the stranger. The stranger danger is real. And so I'm like, okay. And finally it just got to a point where I was like, no, I'm good or whatever. And he's like, well, here, just take my number, writes it down on a piece of paper and gives it to me. So I took it, and I think it accidentally got in the garbage somehow when I was cleaning up.
You think so?
I think it might have. Accidentally.
Who passes out phone numbers these days?
Right. Because I had my phone out because I was pausing my my book that I was listening to, because I had my earbuds in, and I also was trying to get my my stun gun at the same time too, because I carry all things with me when I'm walking, because people's crazy, and so yeah.
And what time of the day is this?
It was like maybe 6 or 7 in the evening.
In the evening? Okay.
Because the one thing about me is I don't go for walks at the same time. I always go at different times, because I recognize that people do, even though I don't think people are watching me, people are watching me.
Well, you know that this man is watching you.
Absolutely. With him saying that he's been watching me for months with the S.
He shouldn't have led with that. That was creepy.
Extremely creepy. And that's why I was like, okay, all right.
I think what you gave an example of a man who actually approached you, because we talked about this at one point.
We did.
He approached you in a manner that gave a little bit of safety to you to have that have a conversation with him. Mm-hmm. And then he led into the whole like, let me be your friend thing, which if
I'm not trying to pressure you.
Right. Let's break that song down.
I'm like,
I said he's completely a stalker.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. As long as we agree.
Oh, we definitely agree.
I'm not trying to press you, but
but I can't stop thinking about you.
Right.
You don't really got to be my girlfriend. I just want to let you know.
But we can hang out and chill. No, it's a complete contradiction of everything.
I'm like, no, sir.
Oh, so old guy wants to be your friend, lets you go, and it sounds like a amicable
split.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Gave you your phone number, and that was it.
Right, and I made sure it accidentally got into the garbage.
Yeah, and knowing that had you seen him around before?
I've seen his vehicle, because there's not many black men that drive Subarus.
Interesting story. You know how we go.
Oh, see, I know, because you got the Subarus by your house.
I got all kind of Subarus at my
all
house.
the Subarus by you.
But I can't remember where I was. It was at Bayshore. I was getting in the car, and I heard like a it was like some it was some loud music. It was the
some Afro beats.
No, I used the wrong beat. It was more so the drill beat. It was like some of them drill music. And riding by, and it was beating where the car was rattling. I looked up, it was a Subaru. It just did not fit.
No.
It did not fit.
But that's what they do. People love their Subarus.
Yeah, but I know one person who's black who has a Subaru. I know there are more people. I'm not trying to stereotype, but everybody in River West has a Subaru except for me.
Because you got the Jeep.
That might count. Mm-hmm. But the Subaru is bar none, number one.
Yeah.
But he had a Subaru. Interesting.
Yeah, it was a tan color Subaru. I didn't check the plates. My bad. I was just trying to move around I was more or less patting, trying to make sure I had my stun gun on me. So
Well,
in case I had to stun him.
Your amicable disbursement
Mhm.
still might be leading to something else because he's been watching for months.
Right. So that means now I gotta make sure I got my gun with me next time. So that's what I'm here.
This may be true.
So
This may be true.
yeah, I just don't get it.
So I'm trying to actually fix the title on StreamYard. It's not letting me do it for the show,
Aw.
but
It's okay. I mean, you did have like all the info, and that's okay.
Did you see the advertisement picture?
I did. I'm very proud of you. One of these days, I might log in here and let y'all really post this on my page.
Okay. Yeah, when you get to figure out how to log in.
You know, hey, it is what it is.
So it's okay to not be okay.
And now what?
And now what?
So yes, that is what today's topic actually is.
See that segue?
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that's why I'm here.
Cheers. Part of the not being okay is drinking. No, I'm joking.
Right, drinking on the job. That's what it is.
But the reason why I wanted to bring that up, and it was also part of like what I was talking about yesterday when I went for my walk, when I went live on Facebook, which I very rarely do, but I just felt it in my spirit to go ahead and just kind of talk because I have really been going through some stuff, but I often keep it to myself.
Recently?
Yes.
Okay.
And so a lot of it is like growing pains. A lot of it is just me kind of like recognizing things and kind of just seeing how I'm pivoting in different areas of my life and how, you know, some people are okay with it. Some people aren't. You know, it's not my business. You know, if you feel away, you feel away. You know, it is what it is. But I had to really sit with myself and be like, okay, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, you don't feel like, I shouldn't say I don't feel like super, super happy, but I don't feel super sad. It's like I kind of feel just like indifferent. And so I'm like, that's still not me. And what a kind of, hey.
What's up, Dino? Yo.
Did you get every single one of those hoes in?
What it do, y'all?
And so I, sat with myself and I'm like, okay, how long is, I kind of just was like doing a rundown on myself. I'm like, okay, how long has this been going on? How long you been feeling this way? What are you doing to make it change? And like all those things like that. I'm like, okay. So I ran it back and I noticed it really started in March. And then it was okay, April. And then it picked back up again in May. And so I'm like, okay, March transitions. Because of course my mother and then my godmother passed away the day before my mother this year as well. So it's like a double.
Like a calendar thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And recognizing my own cycles. And then May, of course, is Mother's Day. And all the other things going on as well, too. Yeah. And so then I'm like, okay. And then now I'm looking at, it's June. I'm like, all right, I should be kind of starting to come into the tail. It should be kind of starting to do this. Why are we still doing this? So I'm like, okay.
And the sun is out and you're getting a lot of sun.
Right. And I'm like, making sure making sure I'm going outside, moving my body and everything like that.
It's still in that space.
And still in that same space. Okay. So I was like, okay, what it's boiling down to is that I'm really just missing my mother's presence on this earth, which I recognize that only thing that's really honestly, and this is how I cope myself, of course, is saying that, it's just our relationship has changed with the transition, that she's still my mother and all those things are going to still be. But still, like when you have those moments where you want to just like lay on her, you know what I'm saying? Just like the cuddle with her or whatever, just sit there and just talk to her. And of course, granted, I do talk to her daily, but it's still not the same. And so that's what I was, kind of grappling with and trying to figure it out. And it was interesting because when I said that on my live yesterday, I shit you not, a cardinal flew right by, right when I was saying that. And I was like, y'all will not believe this.
On the live?
On the live, the cardinal just went, zoop. And I was like, see. So
the idea behind the cardinal was that somebody's coming looking over you? Is that what
yes. Yeah. It's usually saying that like it's a spirit that's, kind of watching out and everything and letting you know that they're still here. So yeah.
Is this your language right here? So
it is. Yes, I have been doing both of those.
Is this whole true?
I am recognizing, but also too, it's it was a Scorpio moon. I think we're going to a Sagittarius moon right now, but it also was a Scorpio moon within these past couple of days as well. So that's the other thing I had to recognize for myself because I'm a Scorpio moon as well, outside of being Scorpio.
You're a Scorpio and a Scorpio moon? You just all Scorpio?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm double Scorpio. So I'm Scorpio sun and moon, and then my ascendant is Cancer. That's why we get along.
That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. I was told they have a Virgo moon and Leo
Ascendant.
I think Leo. Yeah.
Okay, I can see that.
I didn't see the Leo.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know enough about. I don't know enough about any of this shit to actually be able to speak on.
Yeah, you gotta start. You gotta start looking into it.
Yeah, I'll just talk to you and Dino. Yeah.
Yeah, but so yes, and you are correct. Ancestors visiting.
That's what the cardinal means.
That's what the cardinal means.
Okay.
So that's the thing. So I was like, okay, so I needed to see that, because then that just kind of helped me back to where I need to be at. But then I also recognized too that I wasn't taking care of myself as much as I normally do. So, for example, that's why I was saying part of the reason why I was late is because I had to go get my braid hair. Okay, because I'm getting my hair braided on Monday, and the city apparently is out of the color that I normally use on my hair, so I had to get it. Well, thank you.
Yes, I extended grace to allow the tardiness. Yes. That's how I got her.
And a drink.
And gave her J Electronica at the intro music without giving you a headache.
Exactly. So I appreciate it.
Because she's different. She's got to have different intro music for every show. But
that's what makes me.
But unique. I digress.
But that's what makes it unique. But then also too, looking at, going back to what we're talking about too, recognizing that I'm still really in the grieving process. And it's like, the grief honestly doesn't change. Mm-hmm. It's like the situation might be something different, but then it's always, you kind of are like going through the steps. And so that kind of goes back to like what I was mentioning with me, with my dad and everything too, because I'm also grieving him. Because even though he is still here and he's going to be 85, actually on the day of your birthday party.
He's a Cancer?
He is a Cancer.
My nigga.
So he, though, is definitely not doing the best right now. And so that's what's also, weighing heavy on my mind as well, too. Because I got to make a lot of changes for him, which includes like, taking over everything. And I'm making the decision now if I'm going to be putting him into a nursing home or assisted living or what,
So the stress yes. of all this has definitely got you.
Absolutely.
And then the season changing as far as the coming around the same time that these people passed away. Mm-hmm. But so technically you're not okay.
That is correct. And that's why I said it's okay to not be okay.
So now what? So if you're not okay, mm-hmm. and nobody knows that you're not okay, mm-hmm. how do you share it without burdening someone else?
Exactly. Which honestly, that really truly is part of it. Being able to like, number one, like having the safe spaces to actually be able to go ahead and have, because I do have like a few people that I talk to and say, hey, this is what's going on. Mm-hmm. And it's funny he says that because I do that. So I'm going to read what Dino says. He says you should talk to her during meditation, ask her anything that's subconsciously coming up again. And I do that. So that's actually part of the reason why she had popped up at that time, mm-hmm. because I had already done that earlier that morning. And I asked for, some form of confirmation. And that's what that was. So that's how I definitely do my whole, communication, with her. But going back to what I was just mentioning, I had like a mini breakdown, like with one of my friends earlier, because I just was like, hey, this is what's going on. This is happening. And she really helped me to put it in perspective, because she's going through some things with her parents as well, too, but both her parents are still here. So, she was saying, I can't really compare, what's going on. But she's like, at the same token, she's like, you're an amazing person. You're doing very well with all the things that are going on in your life right now. And don't ever feel like you don't have anyone to talk to, that, that it is okay, to release and to say, what you need to say. So that was very, helpful for me. Saying, sorry, I take this deep space, thing seriously after 2022.
No, be sorry. That's why we're here.
Yeah, that's part of what the show is about. Mm-hmm. Part of the stuff that we talk about, because I know it's a little bit different than what you might be used to from me. And that's part of the reason why I have these conversations with my Oh, buddy. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to break nothing. Like that sound like that hurt. I'm sorry. I'm getting a little strong here when with me going to the gym, so I'm apologize.
Can't even find nothing.
No, I was gonna say that's not even a good one either.
Nah. Here we go.
That's kind of like what sound like happened. Well, thank you. Said he's like, I love it though.
Hey, he mentioned that if the person loves you, it's not a burden.
Right.
But you're not thinking that way when you are burdening yourself with it, because it seems like a lot, and it seems like you're complaining, or it feels like you are, being Eeyore, like, oh, woe is me, and looking for sympathy. Because there are people out there that do that and try to suck the energy out of you, and they do it every single time.
It's funny you say that because that's my dad right now.
Oh yeah,
my dad is Eeyore.
Oh man.
And so as I was mentioning to you when I came in here, I went off on him today, and it was just a lot of, and I kept saying like, it's been 6 years, and that's like what it kept on like going through, because I said, I've been letting you do your thing and let you live your life. I try not to get involved, but I said the only time you contact me is when there's a problem. And I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like to start conversations with, hey, how you doing? I don't get that question asked. I get the, oh, what are you up to see what I'm doing? Because if I'm doing something, I'll say, oh, well, I'm, working. I'm about to go into a meeting. Oh, okay, well, can you do? And I'm like, why am I doing this? What did you do?
Mm-hmm.
What did you mess up? And so then I have to go back into fix it mode. And I said to him, I was like, I'm tired. I said, I feel like you don't take my life into consideration.
He's asking for major things.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, you're not taking anything into consideration. You think I can just drop what I'm doing at the drop of a dime and hop on a plane and get down there, because my dad's in Florida. And so that's been a trick. It's been a tricky situation for the past, 6 years. But like I said, now it's getting worse because he does have depression. And so and I had the conversation with him a couple of days ago. I asked him, I said, do you want to be here? I just said flat out, I said, do you still want to be here? Because I'm like, it's just getting to that point where I need to know where your mind is at, because you don't share with me. I don't know. I'm like, you don't talk to anybody. Mm-hmm. I'm like, so you're having ruminating thoughts. You're just kind of in this zone, like you're in this spot. And it's like, I want to help you. I provide solutions. I do all these different things, and it's still the same thing. And it's like, you continue to do the same thing, expecting a different result. That's the definition of insanity. And I said, I'm not going insane with you. You can hold that ship down on your own. Like, I'm like, I have my whole, life ahead of me. And I said, I do so much for everyone else. I deserve to be able to go ahead and do the things that I want to do for myself. And like, I'm creating the life that I want to have now because I've set myself up to be able to go ahead and do so. Mm-hmm. And so it's difficult.
Does he have a reason to come up here?
He refuses to come up here because of the weather. Because he's been down there for so long that, people that like move down south, when you come back up here, your blood thins. It's like it's a whole thing, a whole thing. And so, and honestly, I wouldn't want him up here anyways either, to be quite honest, because I just like
you didn't have to say.
Yeah, I moved out at 19 with a baby in my hip for a reason. So, I'll say it like that.
Well, Dino's your number one fan.
Well, thank you, Dino. You absolutely do deserve it. No, and I definitely agree, and that's why I had to, really have that hard conversation, and just say like, you know what? And I even at the end of the conversation, I told him, I said, you know what? I said I love you, and I will talk to you sometime soon. And I just had to leave it at that, because I'm like, if I continue to feed into that energy that's pulling away from me, so then I had to go back, because that's a trigger for me. When people don't listen to me and they continue, and you talk over me, like all those things. So I'm like, oh, you like quadruple triggering me right now. Like I can't, like that gunshots. That's what's happening to me. I was like, Elizabeth, come to join you. Which, side note, that actually is my grandmother's name, so it actually kind of has a double meaning when I hear that. His mom. That was his mom's name.
You ain't ready to join it.
So I'm like, I can't. I'm like, no, we're not doing this. So I had to really like take a moment to myself earlier and just be like, okay, breathe, everything like that. Like, what is this trying to teach you right now? And it's really just for me, I brought it to, it's giving me more skills for me to be able to go ahead and recognize where I'm at in my own healing. and seeing where I still need to move forward for myself.
So I produce another show called Do Not Resuscitate, and it's with
Denise.
Denise, Nicole, and Ruthia.
Mm-hmm.
And I have happily renamed it DNRT because I am the T in the DNR. Nate called it Do Not Resuscitate Tommy,
Mm-hmm.
which is an ongoing joke. Anyway, they had a discussion about helping yourself, self-help, mental health, and how you like recover from being in a dark space.
Mm-hmm.
And my conclusion was, and you said, you're not okay. And so, and it's okay not to be okay. And now what? If you're not okay, and you know that you're not okay, and you don't tell anybody else that you're not okay, how? Like, I think the catch is what gets you out of that rut. And we went around and talked about, so all right, when you were there in that space, how did you get out? And they asked me, and I was like, I don't remember. I don't remember. People say, oh, it was counseling. It's like, I went to counseling. I didn't get out of counseling. I was drinking. Didn't get out.
Right.
I was doing mad edibles.
Didn't get you out of that either.
I remember watching many movies. I don't watch movies. I remember just laying on the couch watching movies. It's like all of a sudden, I just was out of it. Just all of a sudden, and it's been it's been an uphill battle, but at the same time, now I look at it, I'm like, nah, because I use this. Now I'm actually disclosing too much.
It's okay. I've already disclosed too much too, where I already know I'm probably gonna get some phone calls from family, and I really don't care.
One of the things that got me out was getting some medication, and I had taken a long time without it, and I was like, fine, I'm going to do it. And I think that would help me get it out. But there was a moment where I missed a couple doses,
and you could tell the difference.
This is the difference, and it sounds crazy. It was like I had an out-of-body experience, and it was like a voice literally telling me, "You sad, you sad," and I was saying, "No, I'm not." Like I had a discussion with myself. Like, no, I'm not. Like, yeah, you are. Be sad. And I could feel myself like
trying to pull into it.
It's like, yeah, I am. Because I remember I was talking,
and I'm laughing because that happens to me too. Where I'm like, I'm having a conversation with myself, but then myself will be saying something else. Will be like, no, you're not doing this.
Right. It was like basically, nigga, go to sleep. Right. Go to sleep. Night. I'm like, no, I'm not. It was the craziest thing ever. And I was like, I'm not. That was insane. I'm not doing that again. And I'm not. That was not a good space to be in. But the fact that I was conscious enough to know that I didn't want to be there, I'm like, no, I'm not. Right. And didn't go back since. So I didn't share that much with it, but I just remember that being a very vivid conversation I had with myself. And hopefully that don't ever come around again.
No, and I mean, the thing is too, to be able to recognize when that type of stuff happens as well. But like for me, I had to, even last night I had to sit there and have a conversation.
It definitely was. It definitely felt like that.
Yep. That was your voice. The angel and devil on your shoulders. Real. Yeah. And that's the thing. And that's why I have to, watch for that as well too. Going back to what you mentioned, asked, if he is down there by himself. Yes, he is. And that was another conversation I had with him too, because I said, why are you always wanting to be by yourself? Because like he's the one that has moved away from everybody. Like he don't stay by nobody. Like his sister is down in Florida, but she's on the other side of Florida. And so I was talking to her, my aunt, and I said, hey, would you be okay with him moving closer to you? Because then I have like cousins and stuff that could pop in on him and check on him. So that's where it's kind of giving me that, which way should I go? And I do not want to move to Florida. I'm actually looking at moving closer to him, but definitely not Florida. Florida got too many tricky politics and too much stuff going on down there that I'm not fooling with. So
yeah, I heard.
Yeah, like right now, actually, we're running into an issue because we need to get some work done on the house, and because of all the immigration stuff and things that are happening down there, that a lot of the workers are on strike. So that's a thing that's making things difficult too, because I do need to sell the house, but we need to get work done on the house before we sell the house to make sure that we can at least, I don't want to necessarily say break even, but at least make something, you know, off of it versus just letting it be as it is. So it's a lot of, you know, a lot of pieces. But then on the flip side, I have all these amazing things happening in my business. And then I'm watching like my kids are doing really good. And like, so I'm looking at all these things. I'm sitting here in the middle. Like, I want to be over here where the fun is. Like, I want to be over here where the happiness and stuff is. It's like, I don't want to keep being pulled back into, you know, something else that's going on.
And you don't want to leave all the greatness behind, all the stuff that's happening, the promising things.
No, absolutely. Because I mean, I have stuff that's like for the going towards the mid to end of this month. And I actually like have secured some things that I'll be doing for the rest of this summer, you know, as well, which is dope. And I'm excited about it. But then at the same token, I have all this going on as well. So that's why I'm trying to figure out about going down there before all of my business stuff starts up. So then that way I can get that stuff handled and it not necessarily be kind of hovering while I'm trying to get my stuff done. Because even when I was like, I was in a meeting on actually yesterday, and he called me a few times, and luckily the meeting was with the person that I'm friends with. So it was like a business meeting, but still like we're also cool. So and I told him, I said, hey, I got stuff going on with my dad. He's like, oh, so if he calls, just go ahead and take the call. He's like, we good. I don't worry about it. So luckily I was in a situation where I could do that, but that's not how it is. That's normal. That's not a normal situation. So I got lucky because of that. But I'm like, I don't want that to be a continuous thing.
So what would it take? Because right now you're starting to recognize that he's not okay.
I've noticed that for some time. And it's like I'm trying to have him figure it out too.
But you're already concluding that that's the case. And you're already planning for an alternate lifestyle for him. What's going to keep you from bringing him up here? Like it gets to a point where what's best is for him to be near somebody who's going to be looking out for him and not somebody like a third party or something like that. I know you said that it would be hard for you, on you.
Right.
But like if it came down to it, like, look, nigga, come on. Not that your daddy a nigga,
but he can't. But the thing is that he wouldn't even be able to stay with me because with the design of my house and everything, he wouldn't be able to.
Oh, okay.
Because I have stairs. I have a tri-level. And so he wouldn't be able to. I was like, he wouldn't be able to even make it in my house. So that wouldn't even be an option for me. That there is an assisted living actually like down the street from like walking distance from my house. But once again, like I said, I know he's not going to be, you know, happy of being up here because of the weather. And also too, all of his friends that were up here have now transitioned. Gotcha. So he's in that age. And that's another thing with him being, you know, about to be 85. A lot of people that he knew are gone now.
What part of Florida?
He's in Port Charlotte, so it's like an hour from Tampa. 45 minutes from Fort Myers, but like an hour from Tampa.
And Tampa's like middle
Gulf Coast.
Okay, all right. Yeah, right. Okay.
So yeah, and then my aunt is in Port St. Lucie, which is on the other side of Florida, which is like closer to like on the side where Miami and everything else is, and Fort Lauderdale and stuff.
We went to Daytona in college. I remember my friends met us at Grambling in Louisiana. We're going to drive over to Florida because it's closer.
No, it's not. It ain't nowhere.
It took us 12 hours to get to Daytona from Grambling. That little panhandle is long as shit.
Yes, it is.
I'm like, why does it take so fucking long? 12 hours.
And he like, did we just drive for 15 hours to just get to one spot?
I was like, and Daytona is north.
And that's the scary part.
That's crazy. Florida is deceptive. But
it's that long. But same thing with Georgia too was super long.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't seem like it is, but it is.
What's up, Juan?
I was just talking about you because we was talking about the shoe app. So you came in a little late. So you got a shout out.
I see the logo. I see the logo, Juan. Oh, he got the heartbreak. I see the heartbreaker on there. What's that? It's got a story.
Yeah, it does.
Logo got a story.
Yeah, we're gonna hear about it on the first one. Florida's America's appendage. It really is. I mean, it technically is underwater, but we're not gonna talk about it.
It's a whole cartoon with Bugs Bunny taking a saw and cut it off. I wonder if I can find it. It's funny.
It's very true though. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot, and that's why I said, you know, I often look like I don't have a lot going on, but I got so much that be going on like a regular basis. Like even when I was talking to my assistant and stuff, she's like, you have stuff going on like every single day. She's like, when do you get a break? I was like, yeah, that's a very good question. Like when I meditate, when I go to the gym, like, you know, that's like I try to take like the mini breaks
Yeah.
when I can. And I definitely want to go ahead and plan the vacation, as well too. Doing like a mini getaway like the end of July. But I mean, other than that, it's like I'm really focused on making sure I hate you. Making sure that, things are good. Good with my business and everything, but then also, like I said, making sure things are good with him. And it's been a lot of crucial conversations that I've been having. But this you funny. I'm gonna let Tommy go ahead and put this up because this for you, Juan.
That does it. South America, take it away.
I kind of feel like that right now with the whole entire stuff that's been going on down there, especially with the education stuff and the cultural competencies and all that kind of stuff that's been going on down there as well.
Yeah, I haven't been paying attention enough to it. Literally, I've been engulfed in a whole bunch of old personal stuff myself. I don't even watch the news. And the only reason I'm actually paying attention to the news a little bit is because of the morning show that comes on 9 o'clock every morning right here on TDR.
Monday through Friday. Let's get that part because it's every day.
Nine. It's been every day,
but it has been the weekend.
Yeah, and it has not been a weekend.
So that's why I said Monday through Friday.
Episode 7 happened this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Interviewed my daughter. It was interesting. People were asking questions that were
they hurting your feelings?
No, I actually opened the floor up and said, you can ask Kaya anything about me. And they were asking questions. And she was really honest. She's still a sweetheart. So we have to bring her back. But
I got to come back on too.
Yeah. We'll
probably in my gym clothes again. Because like.
And the door's open. I think we're going to get a couple people to pop up here and there. I'm trying to get Crystal Ship to come on down.
Good.
Because she's going to talk about Control C. She's been doing some great things. The yoga lady upstairs. I can't remember her name.
Alana.
Was it?
Alana?
Yes. I think I met her once. You were sitting up there talking to her. That was you introduced me to her.
Yeah.
So she was supposed to come down yesterday, but she must have forgot.
And that's okay, because actually right now they're doing their women's circle, and that's the thing that's hard because like I want to come to those, but when they're having them the same day that I'm doing podcasts, and then then the other Fridays when I have my kids. So hopefully now that summer break is about to hit, which is going to be they got out of school on the 8th, and so now that's kind of freeing up my schedule a little bit more now that I don't have to worry too much about making sure that they're good. You got a break last Sunday. I did have a good break last Sunday.
All right, you did. And I forgot. Yeah. Or broke off.
You know what?
We damn near could do without Florida. Just move Miami to the lower part of Georgia and we'll be okay. Yeah, we need a trade Florida for somewhere else. Hell, at this point, I'll gladly take Cuba.
No.
Going. Hey, it's my co-host. S. Dot.
Hey.
S. Dot with polo fleeces. Or what you call him?
Oh, I called him Loom.
Loom. Yeah. It's Loom or Young Buck. Whatever. Whoever.
Look. Young Buck and Loons or Look. Give him his own name.
Right. So what things are you doing for yourself to be okay other than the meditation?
Meditation, journaling,
books.
Reading. Also too though, just looking at how am I taking care of myself? So like I said, made my hair appointment because I realized I haven't done that in a while because I was starting to like just pay more attention to my kids, even though I know y'all be like, you don't look like ain't nothing wrong with you, but that's I'm not mad. Okay. I know you said I'm not mad alone.
Young Buck though.
But I mean, I've been really just kind of looking, even just at my schedule and just kind of looking at things. I'm like, okay, when can I make some more time for me and going into my own interests and things I like what brings me joy?
It's so funny that, not funny. It's so interesting that you come to the table right now and saying that you're not okay and you haven't been okay. And if you know Sarita and you come around Sarita, the energy is always looking out for other people and making sure they're okay. And we've had our conversations here and there. But it never seems to be to a point where you can't handle it because you talk about the resiliency that you have displayed in your previous relationships in your life and your pain and all that stuff and what you turned into a business, which ironically is becoming a burden a little bit.
Slightly, because it's like, when you're trying to help people so much, it can be rough. Because, for example, like my father has chronic pain.
He's not listening to
and
you.
He's not listening to anything I say.
I ain't met your daddy once.
Oh, you just know because you all cancer men.
I'm all right. I'm good. I'm good.
That y'all just, stubborn, hard-headed. And the thing too is that, it's like it's a thing. It's really a him thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a me, it's a him. And he's very, stuck in his ways and everything, of course, too. So,
well, you know what? Women who actually share that they're not okay is probably more acceptable than a man expressing that he's not okay. And I know it's a double standard, but as a man, our perseverance and our resiliency is shown through our demeanor. And I actually honored this as a father when I was when all the kids were younger. The energy in the house is depicted off of the energy of the father in the house. So and this is a perfect example. One day I was tiling the floor in the kitchen, and I had moved the refrigerator out of the way so I can get underneath the refrigerator. Well, the ice machine has a very small, skinny copper. It was copper. I don't know why it was copper, but it was all, I extended it as far as I could, and I needed like a needle nose pliers to get it, but I didn't have one. So I had left the refrigerator out. But you know how, days go by. Refrigerator still pulled out. I'm still working on the floor. I'm at work, all this stuff. And at the time, my wife had called, and she was like, the house is flooded. There's water all over the place. Oh. And she's up there screaming, kids in the background. And I get home, and water's all over the place. And I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Like, what am I going to do? But I had to have this demeanor like everything was all right. And that's the job of you have to act like everything is all right to keep everybody else calm. Because if you start, oh shit, what are we going to do?
Right. But that's honestly, but with mothers, we have to do the same thing though too. That's a similar thing where I have to do that, with my kids and everything as well. And I'm getting to a point now where I'm talking to my kids about what's going on. And so they know that I'm dealing with stuff they call my dad Papa. So I'm like, I'm dealing with stuff with Papa right now. And I said, it's getting difficult. I'm not trying to take it out on y'all. So I'm like, if I tell y'all that I just like need a minute, I need y'all to respect that and give it to me. Because if not, I am going to yap out on y'all. And I don't want to do that. But if I'm already giving you the forewarning and you don't allow.
They respond with it?
Yeah, for the most part, they do.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's still you telling them that you're not okay. Like, I guess this is where we are, like, this is where men and women have that kind of like, it's you don't understand kind of thing. Because for me to not have an idea of what I'm going to do in a circumstance of like trauma or something that is very, like, I remember many a times sitting down with my ex-wife and like, we ain't got money. She's like, we ain't got money for this. We got this, that, this. And I would be like, shit, we don't. In my head, I'm like, we ain't never had no problems. We're gonna be all right. We ain't never had our lights turned off. We gonna be good. We're gonna be good. And I'm like, what the fuck I'm gonna do? I gotta go sell some ass. What the fuck I'm gonna have to do? Like, what the fuck is? I mean, but you have to. And she calmed down. And I was like, all right, that means I gotta do some more extra shit that I can make this happen. So I have to be a man of my word. And being a man of your word is more so, like Esther said, man up. That's being a man of your word is making sure that she ain't gotta worry. And that's what y'all want a man like that. Y'all want a husband like that can make sure that everything is all right.
But at the same time, you have to be that person's safe space as well too. So if you're like, I don't know either, okay, we both don't know, but at least we're going ahead and we're talking about it and we're working through it together. Because that's the thing with me. Like, I always believe in being that space, being that peace, like us being the peace for each other.
Nigga, I said that once and she started crying. I don't know. I don't know either. What you mean you don't know? I don't know. I'm sorry. That shit was hard.
But also,
hi,
too,
Kayla.
Hey, Kayla. But also, too, I mean, it kind of comes down to when you're having those conversations, are you venting or do you want a solution? And I think that that's a piece when it comes to the communication part as well. To be like, hey, what are you looking for? What's the end result that you're looking for from this conversation? Because that's one thing I had to recognize too and learn how to communicate that and be like, okay, I'm talking to you right now. I'm just venting. I don't need a solution, but if I need a solution, I will ask you for a solution. And then kind of leaving it like that.
I've dated somebody that was like that. Like, when I'm telling you this, don't don't interact with me with solutions,
Mm-hmm.
because men,
Mm-hmm.
we want to fix it. We don't want you to be sad. We don't want
Right.
you to be hurt. So we're gonna try to
Mhm.
fix it. And it's like, no, that's not what I want. Just listen.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually allowed me to be a better listener,
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of circumstances. But it's a catch-22 in some cases, because I've been a listener and didn't do anything, and then I got, like, as a job, was told, like, basically told on by a boss that I didn't help, because the person was so strong, always fixing stuff, and she was just telling me stuff, and I'm like, all right. So
Oh yeah, the situation that you told me about.
yeah. And she went back and told. I was like, oh, you needed help. You didn't say it,
Right, and that's
supposed
where
to
I
read
was
your mind, nigga?
right, and that's what I was just gonna say. That's where it boils down to, though, too. It's like it's still that communication, to be able to go ahead and say those
My
things.
therapist
So,
says this: I need to do better about being clear on venting versus solutions. I don't do that. Mm-hmm.
And don't start that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that is true. That was something I had to learn myself.
You don't have the strength anymore to. Well, single mothers unfortunately have to kind of carry that burden in some cases, unless you have a good co-parenter.
And that's the one thing I can say about my ex-husband is a good co-parenter. Was definitely not the.
You can put that in your book.
Thank you.
Co-parenter.
I have like mentioned stuff to him where I say, hey, heads up, I'm probably gonna have to go down to Florida because XYZ is going on. And he's like, oh shit, like, I'm sorry to hear that's happening, because the thing is that what's wild is that my dad actually, it's probably gonna sound crazy, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it because he said it to me. My dad has been more of a father to him than his father was. And so therefore that's how their relationship was, where he would come to my dad and ask him for advice and ask him questions and things like that. So those conversations he never had with his father, he has had with my dad. So it also bothers and kind of like hurts him that all this stuff is happening as well too, when it comes to him. And so he's been definitely like more understanding about what's happening, because he knows, number one, I am only child. And so now I am dealing with this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and deny it, but also too, all my kids are spoiled. So that's every last one of them. But I don't even want to necessarily call it spoiled at this point. Just I make sure they have the things that they need, and maybe a little extra, just for a little razzle dazzle.
That's true. Because you don't want your kids going to school looking goofy, looking crazy.
I mean, they go to school in Brookfield, so that ain't nothing for them. It's a little different. But yeah, I mean, going back to though what Kayla was saying, I'm at that spot too, where it's like the strength factor.
She don't act spoiled.
I can't believe you asked that, Tommy. She
don't actually act spoiled.
I don't act spoiled. I just I know what I want. That's the thing, and be able to go and say that Sarita is definitely a high value woman. And look, what you mean?
I think Sarita's a high value woman who does not, you don't require everything that a high value woman requires. Like,
but I do.
But you don't, you are able to compromise in a lot of cases.
Yeah, I mean, I can have those conversations and everything, but I mean, I still like to be wine and dine. I still like to be romanced. I still like all those different things like that.
That's not really high value. That's
it's courtship.
Unfortunately, that should be
chivalry.
Yeah, that should be natural. Like I like courting. I like the whole court part, but that should be natural. Like, I don't think that's spoiled. I think spoiled is shit. Helicopter picking you up and taking you to France. Like, come on.
I need that in my life. Look, I need that in my life. I want it in my life.
Was that Juvenile?
Yes. Juvie the Great.
If I could do it, yeah, but you're gonna get this Jeep work. You're gonna get picked up with Jilly.
And that's okay. I mean, I get picked up in the Jeep anyway, so that's fine. Not yours. Let me make a clear line of sand here. Let's clarify for the camera. I'm looking around the camera. This ain't that at all.
It's three of us, but I feel like only child when I have to deal with my mom's issues. Makes me nervous to move back because I'll be on the front line. So I feel you, Sarita.
Yeah, and it's really, a matter of putting down the boundaries, because I even had to say to my dad, I said, this is the reason why I have, basically, I'm not even going to say I just don't stay in contact with them that much, because the conversation is always the same. and I'm tired of having the same conversation. And I even asked him too. I said, "Are you venting? Do you want a solution?" Like I ask all those different questions and stuff like that. And it really boils down to I know that his emotional maturity is not there. And so he's not emotionally mature enough to say those things. And also, too, he's in his ego big time. And because he's in his ego so hard, he can't see. So I even will say, I asked him questions. I said, "What do you want from me? What do you want me to do?" And his famous thing to say is, "I don't know." I said, "Well, I don't know doesn't get anything done." And that's what I always say. I said, "I don't know gets nothing done." I said, I operate off of solutions. And if I don't have, if you're not partnering with me to like tell me what you need, I said, I will come through like a hurricane. Like, because I know that's what you used to down there. So I'm going to give you a hurricane and get everything done. You can
call it slurricane. Slurricane.
Are you going to have those at your party?
Strong enough to start an engine, man.
I got to have those at your party. Look, now you got me looking. Now I'm like, ooh, I want some hurricane. Why did you start that?
Sorry. I know S-Dot don't like E40, but I like E40.
I just I want to try his Earl Stevens wine. Did you know he has Earl Stevens wine?
Yeah, I do. He has a whole like
Moscatos. He has a mango Moscato that I want to try.
Don't bring it for Mimi. She might not make it.
I'm gonna do that.
Talk to him big time.
Talk to him big time. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of making sure I'm keeping strong boundaries. Because I used to not have strong boundaries when it came to him. And I think it also boils down to having more discernment and recognizing that, he isn't going to tell me when he needs me at all.
That's why I asked you about like moving him. Like at one point, you got to become the parent of your parent.
Oh, that's where I'm at right now. I've been there for the past 6 years.
I'm blessed. For my mom's not with me. My biological father's not with me. My stepfather's still with us, and my biggest my biggest hindrance from him is distance, and he's only in Oak Creek.
Yeah, that's not too
far. But the only time he asks for anything is when his computer is not working.
I was just gonna say that, and that's actually what's funny with you saying that. That's part of what's going on right now is that he's locked out of his Google account. And I need to get into it so I can go ahead and take care of like his auto pays and stuff because he had a whole fraud situation go on. So I had to like switch accounts and stuff over for him. And so I need that information, but can't get into it. So he was calling me freaking out at Verizon and saying, "Well, Verizon told me this." And I said, "Why are you there? They can't do anything for you."
Having those conversations with the elderly it seems comical if you're on the outside because my kids laugh like because he doesn't really know where the items are on the computer. And just having a conversation with him about certain things, he's talking like he knows. I'm like, no, that's not it
at all.
That's not what it is.
It's not even close.
And he start pointing and say, "Is it this?" I was like, no, that's your Wi-Fi. I don't have nothing
like,
to
is
do
it like no, that's your files.
Right. That's the cable box,
right?
That's he still has a landline. So that you don't unplugging the phone. No.
Yeah,
But it's hard because he was the smartest dude I knew.
Right, that's the thing.
He knew everything and taught me. Like I saw him, the dryer stopped working. I saw him go down and take the dryer apart and got it apart and put it back together. And it was a gas dryer. It's not even like an electric dryer. Like he knew what the pilot light, all that shit. Like damn.
Yeah, my dad was like very good in carpentry and different things like that. Like he'd be the person I would call and have him like, "Hey, Dad, I need to do whatever." Like even with now, like I've been in my house like 6 years now. I've been in there. Some of the stuff that's in my house he installed. I would not even dare ask him to do any of that stuff. Like that was just, and that's only been like a less than a 6 year time span. And I even pulled up my phone. Does different videos. And so I never forget after my mom transitioned in March, my youngest, her birthday's April 2nd. So I brought him up here for her birthday and you could see him in the video, like laughing, playing, like dancing around, doing all the stuff and everything. And I'm like, this is less than 6 years ago that I'm watching you. Now you're using a walker and you can barely move. And I'm like, and this is all from grief because he's not processing it. And he's basically, when my mother transitioned, that's when he transitioned too. Where he just kind of like just left. And so that's why I was like, okay, let me start having different conversations with him because clearly the ones that I'm originally having are not working.
Mm-mm.
And so it's like, now I'm trying a different approach. And it's like, I'm not trying to be mean or rude, but I'm just straight to the point. Because at this time, I'm like, I keep saying, like, I've given you 6 years to work with things. And I said to him, I'm like, I don't know how you feel. I don't want to know how you're feeling right now, because I feel like that'd be one of the worst pains, ever. But also at the same token, you need to also understand that I'm going through too. And it's not just a you thing that, we're both going through, as well. But I'm trying to be here for you and you're not allowing me to. So if you don't want me to be here for you, then I'm just going to move around, and just like kind of keep my hands off. But when you keep calling me every time there's a problem, now you're creating problems for me, because now you're taking me away from what I'm supposed to be doing in my business. So I'm getting paid for. It's like, that's not what should be happening.
I definitely would be taken advantage of in your spot, because I remember when my mom passed, and my stepfather, who has I described to you who he was and what he did, how strong he was, and how like he was very chivalrous, very much a quarter. He's old school.
Mm-hmm.
And to hear him after she passed, like it was moments after she passed, like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And I was like,
that's exactly what my father said.
Like,
he said the same
to
thing.
hear that, I'm like, I don't know.
And that's what I said.
Yeah. I mean, it took my like sadness away for a minute. I'm like, wow, that's a whole different perspective. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know what that's like. Like, I even gave the example of when my mom passed and how that grief was, and how my best friend passed, and that was a completely different grief. Like, I wouldn't know how a spouse, how he feels as a spouse.
And with you saying that too, that's honestly one of my, because I don't know if we ever did this on like any of the other podcasts or anything, but like asking like what your biggest fear is. And that's honestly my biggest fear, is being with someone that I love and adore and everything. We built a life together, and then deuces. It's like, that's where I'm like, ooh. And so for him to be living through that, it's like, I don't know how to be there for him. It's like, I'm trying on all different levels. And, normally I don't use the word try, but I'm really trying right now. Like, I'm for real, like in try mode. But at the same time, it's like, I also have to protect my own mental health, as well.
And it feels selfish. It feels like you're and I remember a therapist told me this, that taking care of yourself is not selfish.
Right.
Although it feels like it.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going to take care of you better than you are.
Absolutely. And that's actually one of the things I had mentioned too.
Explain things to his grandma's crazy sometimes. I'm like, how don't you get it? Yeah, it gets difficult.
And then I usually have, like, when it comes to stuff too, like I normally have my son explain stuff to him, because my son has the patience of a saint when it comes to him, where he can be like, okay, Pop, we're going to do this and you're going to do this. And my dad like, okay, like, he just like, whatever the case may be. But also I recognize that the way my dad is set up, he listens to men over women. So it doesn't make a difference what I say. But if I give my son the same information and my son says it, it's Bible.
Whatever works.
It's Bible.
Whatever works.
So, and then that's how I normally operate. But it's like the last few times I've been talking to him, my son now is in a position where at his job, he's a manager. Mm-hmm. So he can't take calls like that, and stuff like that anymore. And I've been saying that to my dad. Gotcha. I'm like, my dad, he's a manager. I'm like, he can't, pull away. Just like there's times where you call me too. And if I'm doing stuff, like, I can't be pulled away. I said, so you got to understand that.
What did he do for a living before?
My dad was the safety and security director over at Doyne before it closed down. And then actually for like 2 years, he was a supervisor of the juvenile correctional officers over at Bell Phillips.
Okay.
Over there. Mm-hmm. And that was also actually funny too, because when he was there, I was still in high school. So there were some of the guys I went to school with there.
Them niggas was at you.
And so my dad was like, because they'd be like, hey, Mr. Valmont, how's Sarita doing? And then my dad would come home and be like, who the hell is doing? And I'm like, I ain't seen him in years. I'm like, I'm like, he there? Like, I'd be like, he's like, how you know? I'm like, dude, I'm like, Dad, remember back? I'm like, and then I had to pull out a yearbook and be like, this is him. He'd be like, really? I'm like, okay.
Locked up.
Right.
Won't let me out.
I'm like, but don't tell him I say hi. Like, just it's like, it's okay. I'm like, You know who I am, but yeah.
So for people who are not okay, what parting words would you have for them to uh, move to the next level?
I would say the beginning part would be first, admitting like, all right, I am not okay. Then taking an assessment of, okay, what are the things that bring you joy?
Mm-hmm.
And looking at, honestly, like going through that list and kind of seeing, and trying those different things out if possible.
Mm-hmm.
It might even come down to, for example, for me, I noticed like my house is starting to get messy, and that's not a thing for me. So now I'm going through the process of like cleaning up my house and like cleaning up different things, because for me, it also kind of breaks down because the mental clutter turns out into physical. So when your brain is cluttered, then your environment starts to get cluttered and everything starts to kind of go awry. And so that's what I've recognized, for myself too. And so now I'm going through that process of like uncluttering things, because then that's like kind of adding into the mix. But for me, when I start to do that, that's also allowing energy to come back in, because now you're actually freeing up space to bring the good stuff in.
My daughters cleaned up my house last week,
Mm-hmm.
and coming home, they told me to leave. Like, just leave.
Do they want to come by my house? Look, how much they charge? Look,
I don't even know what made them act. It was Kaya and Taj. Tommy, she won't do that.
Mm-hmm.
They came through. I came home. I was like, check this out.
Yep.
But
But yeah, I mean, those would be like those are our first couple of things. But then also kind of evaluating what is some of the sources of what's making you feel the way that you're feeling. So if there are situations that are happening, are there ways that you can go ahead and kind of work through them? Is there like any additional resources that you can have, for them as well too? Like for me, I'm going to be reaching out more to my extended family and just saying, hey, I'm at a point now where I do need assistance. Actually, as we're talking, one of my cousins just texted me, which is actually on my mother's side, because he texted me yesterday and was asking me like, hey, how are things going? And it was funny because like he literally texted me as I'm like going through the shit with him, and I'm like, oh, perfect timing. Other side of the family, but perfect timing, So I responded to him like later in the evening, and he just, of course, responded to me now. But being able to reach out to the people that can actually, at least hopefully be able to assist and help you as well. I also, like I said, I recognize that I'm going through grief. And so I actually brought this lovely book here with me as well. This is not my book, but look, I'm trying to find where the camera is. But this is called Moving Through Grief. And this actually gives you, thank you. Appreciate you. Or maybe turn a little bit so you don't have to glare. There you go. And so that, right, we don't know. There's so many cameras here. We don't know which one it is.
Right. This light glare. Okay. I think that's it.
So this book actually like takes you through the grieving process, but also too, it gives you different activities to do to work through your grief. And like the first activities in there is actually writing a letter. And I wrote a letter to my mom like maybe 5 years ago. I haven't, done it again. But I'm thinking about, going back through this book and really just kind of processing it, because I had got it when I was in therapy, because I went to a group therapist. And she mentioned this book, and she was like, it could take you a month to work through it. It could take you 20 years. But she was like, just go through it at your own pace. Schedule yourself time to actually grieve. And she's like, it sounds crazy, but she's like, when you have so much going on in your life, you got to schedule to be able to go ahead and allow yourself to have that time. And so that was something that I thought was, I thought that was very, interesting as well. But then also too, I use that when it comes to my coaching. When I say to people, if you got to schedule time to go ahead and do those things, that's stuff that's for yourself. And so for you to be able to go ahead and go through, to go through it, definitely by all means. It's okay to not be okay, just don't stay there. Correct. And
it is a moment in time. I always use the analogy of, if life was a yardstick, the moments that you're going through is literally like a millimeter.
Yep.
Because you got a whole bunch of life ahead of you and behind you to look at.
No, absolutely. And that's the thing. And that's what I'm also looking at too. It's like, even though it's funny to say, but it's like, I haven't come this far to come this far. It's like, I'm really making sure that I am living out the different things I've been manifesting and wanting to have, and they're coming. They're like literally here, but there's always going to be some form of a distraction. There's going to be something. Life is going to always be lifing, and that's what I say a lot. I'm like, life is always lifing, but in that same token, God is guiding as well too, or whatever, your beliefs are. So it's really just a matter of, kind of taking a step back and just really just evaluating things overall. And then, like I said, using the different resources and tools that are available. BetterHelp is actually who my therapist is through, which is there's an app, but they got ads like all over the damn place. But it's one of those things that has definitely been beneficial for me, that I kind of took a break from my therapist. I'm reaching back out to her and getting something scheduled so that way we can go ahead and talk, through things. Because I say, with me being a coach and anyone else that's like in this kind of field, or, therapists and different things like that too, we all need other people to talk to. Like if you're going to a coach, a therapist or something, they say that they don't go to nobody, you need to run the other direction. Because that means that they're not going through and working on their own, self-development as well too. And, saying those of us that give the best advice have the hardest time following our own advice. That is very true. And that's why I said I'm making myself do these things, because I know there are things that are going to go ahead and help me.
This is heavy.
That's why I had the song.
Yeah. Well, I'm not I am a fan of Jay Electronica, so much so that I'm not a fan, because I've been anticipating this breakthrough album and it didn't come with the heat with it. But I'll accept the fact that he did one and he left. He needed to do an album and walk away into the sunset. Mm-hmm. Appreciate it. Thanks, Jay. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jay-Z.
Right.
But say it like that.
Obviously, you can follow Sarita on Instagram at I Am Chronically Resilient.
That is correct, sir.
Check it out. I know your social medias. I am Can Beats. You can find me on Can Beats Art Space. And you can actually join me on every weekday at 9 right here on TDR with the Can Beats Breakfast Sandwich.
Breakfast.
I might change it to breakfast.
I thought it was breakfast.
It's breakfast.
I'm so disappointed.
Sandwich. Well, breakfast might be trademarked by one of my friends. It's a long story. I'll tell you about it.
But if it's breakfast sandwich, then it's not.
It's all one word. Breakfast sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it.
See, it's what workaround.
Think about it. But thank you guys for joining us this evening. And you have a wonderful weekend and remain resilient.
Absolutely. Love y'all. We'll see you next time.
I got numbers in my phone that'll never ring again, cause a lot done sent them home and they'll never, I got numbers on my phone that'll never ring again, cause a lot will call them home. So until we sing again, I got texts in my phone that'll never ping again. I screenshot them so I got them. I don't want this thing to... I got numbers in my phone that'll never ring again.